Hey boys and girls, it's math time and I love teaching fractions. So let's review what we did yesterday. What was a fraction? Who remembers what Miss Bowden said was a fraction? It's a part of a whole. Yeah, think of like a big pizza. That pizza, the whole pizza's there. But if you cut the pizza into pieces, those are parts. Now, what has to be about those parts, special about those parts? They have to be the same size and same shape, exactly. Fractions are parts of a whole that have to be the same size and the same shape. Each piece have to be the same size and the same shape in order for it to be equal shares or equal parts. Because if not, then that's not fair, and then that's not really a fraction, because a fraction is equal parts. Okay, so today we're going to learn about two specific types of fractions. So whenever we have an object in general, just a shape in general, such as, if you think of it as a pizza, or I'm going to do a rectangle for a candy bar. These, because they're not cut into pieces, they're considered wholes. This is the whole. Remember how we did for addition, part, whole, and whole was the whole entire thing? Same thing for fractions. The whole is the entire piece, not cut up into any pieces, okay? Not cut up into any pieces. For now, some wholes are cut up into pieces, but the whole thing is shaded in. And we're going to talk about that later. Right now, we're just focusing on cutting up our wholes into equal pieces, okay? So a whole does not have anything cut up. It is the whole thing. Think of the pizza. You have a whole pizza, nothing's been taken out of it. Think of a whole candy bar. If you didn't eat any of it, you still have a whole candy bar, okay? Okay, so we have a whole. And from our whole, we can partition. Ooh, big word, new word too. Partition. Partition just means to cut, okay? So we can partition, or we can cut our whole into different sized pieces. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about halves. Halves. Think of that word. You've heard of that word before. Half. What is half? If you take something and you break it into two pieces, I get half, you get half. You're sharing something, okay? So I'm going to go to our holes that we just drew. The hole was the circle like the pizza, and the hole was the square like the candy bar, okay? Halves mean two equal pieces. I'm going to write that. Halves mean two. Wholes mean one. It's all in the same piece. There we go. Whole is one entire piece. Halves mean two equal pieces. So I am going to partition or cut my circle in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down so I can do it equally. Is I'm just going to draw a line right down the middle to cut my circle in half. Are both pieces the same shape and the same size? Yes. How many? I took my whole circle and I cut it into pieces. How many pieces did I cut it into? 1, 2. 2 pieces. Very good. So we call each of those pieces a half. These are called halves. This is 1/2. This is 1/2. What about this candy bar? How do you think I could cut it in half? to show halves, to show two equal pieces. Good job. I can cut it just right down the middle. Let's see if I can do it nice and evenly. There I go. Is my candy bar split in half? Yes. What does half mean? Two equal pieces. Very good. So I've got 1/2 here, 1/2 here, because I took that whole and I split it into two equal pieces. Okay, now let me show you another way we could have done those to split them in halves. Okay, I'm going to draw them again. A little smaller, but that's okay. Okay, I drew a half going up and down. What's another way I could have drawn that half? How else could I have cut it? Besides drawing it up and down, could I have sliced it sideways? Let's see. Did that cut it in half? Do I have two equal pieces? Yeah, that's a half. That's a half. Two equal pieces is a half. Very good. So let's look at this candy bar. This one I cut it up and down to make me two equal pieces. How else could I cut it? It kind of is already cut from our line on our paper. Very good. You can cut it going sideways. And now I've got two equal pieces. So it doesn't matter how you cut it, as long as you can cut it up and down or you can cut it sideways, but you still have two equal pieces that are the same size, which makes each piece a half. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about another way to cut something, because you don't always just share things with two people to cut things in half. Sometimes, like at your table in our classroom, how many people sit at your table? 4, exactly. So we sometimes have to share things between 4 people. So when we do, we call each of those pieces a fourth, or we call it a quarter. So I'm going to write it fourths or quarters. And those mean 4. I can't quite fit it across, but fourths or quarters, they mean 4. 4 pieces. So let me draw that pizza and that candy bar, because we're going to share it with our classmates. Okay. Fourths, if I were to partition or cut my circle into fourths, I would need to cut into 4 equal pieces. How could I cut something into 4 equal pieces? I could go straight down, and then I could also go straight across. Oh, Miss Bowden can't do it holding it like that to make it even. I got to put it on a table. Go straight across. So you're going to make a plus sign. And when you make a plus sign on an object, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal pieces. And they're all the same size and same shape. So each piece is 1/4. 1/4. Now let's look at this candy bar. How could I cut the candy bar into fourths? Exactly, draw the cross. So I'm going to draw the cross down to cut it in half. And then I'm going to draw the cross again this way to cut it in half again. So I drew it down that way. And now I'm going to draw it across that way as best as I can to get it as even and as close as Miss Bowden can. And look at that. How many pieces do you see? 4 equal pieces. So that means that this square or rectangle is cut into fourths. Each piece is 1/4. So as a review, if nothing is cut, we call that a whole, because it's the entire thing. We didn't cut it at all. If we cut it into 2 equal pieces that are the same size and same shape, it is called halves. And if we cut something into 4 equal pieces of the same size and same shape, it's called fourths or quarters. And we're going to talk more about the quarters and the fourths tomorrow, being very specific on it, okay? So today we're just taking our fraction and we're cutting or partitioning them into equal shares. No equal shares like this, where no cuts are made, is a whole. Where you have 2 equal pieces, it's halves. 4 equal pieces is fourths or quarters. Very good. So your worksheet today, you guys are going to be practicing. Lots of this practice is going to go on. I first have got our first worksheet is going to be focused on the halves, to go over what a half is and to follow those directions, and then you get to cut your own in half for the day, okay? Okay, now on here it says to color 1/2 of the shape. So if I were to go back to my halves, and it says to color 1/2. 1/2 means I'm gonna, remember each side represents 1/2. Here's 1/2, here's 1/2. So they just want me to color one of my pieces, okay? That's all that you're gonna do when you have to color 1/2. You're coloring one of the pieces because this side is a half, this side is a half. They only want you to color one. If you were to color both sides, a whole would be colored. But they only want you to color one of those 2 pieces. The next one you're going to focus on is going to be your fourths or your quarters. And it's going to explain the same thing to you, okay? We have the circle. You get to cut your own shapes down here, partition them. But then again, it says color 1/4 of each shape. So here's our fourths or our quarters. Color 1/4. Remember, it's 4 pieces, so color one. Only one of those 4 pieces. That's what 1/4 means, is you're coloring one of those 4 pieces, okay? I think you guys got this. That's going to be super easy to do and to go over. Then Miss Bowden's going to give you a practice sheet of sorting out the shapes that are cut into halves, the shapes that are cut into fourths, and the shapes that are cut into wholes. And for even more practice of just recognition of halves and fourths, all the pieces cut into halves, color them red. All the pieces cut into fourths, color them blue. Lots of practice and work on halves and fourths today. So we really understand that, because tomorrow's lesson is going to go really in deep with them. So today we're recognizing halves and fourths, okay? Equal pieces. Wholes, the whole thing. Halves, 2 pieces. Fourths, 4 pieces. Very good. And then your homework is day 10. And look at this. You can go back on day 9 to check it, because that one says to cut it into fourths. And we just learned what fourths was. So you can always go back and fix that if you didn't do that one. But it's day 10 today, okay? All right, guys. Enjoy your math lesson. Enjoy your day today. I can't wait to have our Zoom meeting on Friday. I will send out an email with the link for us to gather. Bring your writing, bring your art craft that you guys are going to do with your planet as well if you decide to do it. I sent out an email about that. You're just going to create your favorite planet that you wrote about using any type of art materials you want. You can draw it, color it, use chalk outside to make it, use Legos, you can build it with paper mache, you can paint it different marbleized colors, you can put it together with styrofoam balls, make a big arts and crafts project, whatever you want to do. It's your project. Just create your planet that you write about, your favorite planet, okay? I cannot wait to see them and have you guys share about your writing on our Friday Zoom meeting. And I will give you more updates tomorrow about what else we're going to do during our Zoom meeting, okay? See you guys later. Miss you.